I think Diddy missed a big chance by not talking more about his mental illness to get the judge to feel sorry for him and understand. He already admitted he has bipolar. So they should have pushed that hard because bipolar explains exactly the kind of stuff he was doing. Diddy just got sentenced to 4 years in prison, and now all his friends are ditching him. His family walked out of the courtroom smiling. And for the first time ever, Diddy was totally alone. 50 Cent, Gone Deal, and even Cassie have all said something about Diddy's sentence. And the news that Diddy cried and begged the judge shocked everybody. What were Diddy's last words to the judge? And is this really the end for him? This was a really long sentencing hearing where Sean Combs, who used to be bigger than life, ended up begging for mercy. He stood at the defense table, telling the judge he's a changed man now and saying sorry for how he acted. But his ask for a light sentence like just time served got turned down by Judge Arun Subramanian, who said that wasn't enough to send a message he wanted, that violence against women has to come with real consequences. So he gave Sean Combs 4 years in prison. That's less than what the federal prosecutors asked for. They wanted 11 years in prison, reminding the judge that Sean Combs has a habit of violence and abuse. This sentence happened almost 2 years after the raids on Diddy's mansions and the release of those hotel tapes that showed how messed you. Before sentencing, Combs, who got found not guilty on sex trafficking and racketeering charges in his federal trial, showed regret for all of the hurt and pain he caused others through his conduct. In a letter to the judge from the filing NBC News got on October 2nd, he wrote, "I lost my way. I got lost in my journey, lost in the drugs and the excess." 50 Cent wrote a letter to the judge too, saying that over the years Diddy threatened him a bunch of times, and he doesn't believe for a second that Diddy changed. A person who's been violent doesn't just flip and change after a few months in jail. Judge Subramanian. Now, he posted this as a text message. I don't know if this was a text to his lawyer, where he was telling his lawyer to write this letter to the judge. If you don't know, the judge is taking letters for the sentencing of Sean P. Diddy Combs, who's getting sentenced tomorrow. And 50 Cent decided to send his own letter to the judge too. If you don't know by now, it's super clear that 50 Cent is the dad of the child with a woman called Jane Doe. That woman we think is Daphne Joy. So Daphne Joy's baby daddy is 50 Cent. So maybe that's why 50 sent a letter to the judge. Why? Well, one of the two main victims, we all know victim 1 is Cassie, but victim 2 is known as Daphne Joy. Who's Daphne Joy's baby daddy? 50 Cent. So he writes a letter saying, "Dear Judge Subramanian, I've had an ongoing fight with Puffy for over 20 years. He's very dangerous. Multiple times, I feared for my life. I think you should think about the safety of the public, your honor, before letting him loose on them. There hasn't been enough time for him to really change or fix himself, even though he tried teaching a class in there. This is how you know he really wrote it, bad grammar. It should be despite him trying to teach a class in there. As you're already aware, the government SP." Right after the sentencing, those same kids walked out of the courtroom, smiling and laughing. There are even reports that Diddy didn't even turn to look at his kids after the sentencing. Was Diddy just using his kids to get sympathy? Diddy thought he could get the judge to lower his sentence if he showed the nice, caring side of him. Diddy's lawyers played an emotional video of him looking after his kids. At one point, his team even called him a civil rights leader, saying he tried to lead the black community and break down barriers in hip-hop. Keep in mind, hundreds of young artists have come forward saying Diddy assaulted them. One of those artists, Aubrey O'Day, reacted to Diddy's sentence in a post on X, saying, "Let this serve as a cautionary reminder to young and aspiring individuals pursuing their dreams. The true warning is not that a jury may doubt your testimony, nor that a court's sentencing guidelines may fail to reflect the years of suffering you endured. The real warning is this. The moment someone in a position of power oversteps your boundaries or demands more than is legitimately required of you, walk away and do not look back. No dream, however bright, can outweigh the pain and exploitation that may follow if you remain. Too often, those who misuse their power, even when exposed, face far fewer consequences than the harm inflicted upon their victims. Protect yourself at the first sign of coercion or impropriety. If something feels wrong, trust that instinct and remove yourself from the situation. Your well-being is worth more than any opportunity. Diddy and his legal team thought Diddy would walk out today. He even booked meetings in Miami for next week. That's how sure he was. Once Diddy realized he wasn't getting out soon, he shut down and supposedly dropped to his knees crying. He cried a lot today. When his children were sobbing, you could see. Supposedly 15 different inmates said Diddy was a positive influence on them. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really trust what inmates say about a billionaire charged with assault. Prosecutors asked for over 11 years, writing, "It's needed because Combs is not sorry." That he mostly admitted his actions, the violence, domestic abuse, drug use, distribution, and bribery. Former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, who testified, sent a victim impact letter that says in part, quote, "My worries that Sean Combs or his associates will come after me and my family is my reality." She says they moved, and she is, quote, "keeping as private and quiet as I possibly can because I'm so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up about his abuse at trial." We talked to attorney Rich Schoenstein, who's not in the case. Combs has no past criminal record, and U.S. probation recommends 5 to 7 years. I think that's probably the right range. I don't think he's getting a short one like the defense wanted, and I don't think the max either. So middle ground is what most expect, but we'll see. It's up to the judge. Diddy's lawyers said they're planning to appeal and try to throw the whole case out. But don't forget the huge pile of evidence against Diddy. Diddy's sentence fits federal rules. And most lawyers say it's surprising he didn't get longer. Out of New York City, we're hearing Diddy's attorneys talk to media after he got sentenced today. This is live. So yeah, we are planning to appeal. We think we have strong reasons to appeal. The strongest is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was no coercion, and I think the judge said coercion today as a reason for the sentence at least a dozen times. We think that's unconstitutional. We think a jury verdict should matter more than our jury's verdict see. MS to mean, and so we are planning to appeal. If prosecution files a cross appeal, what would happen if they filed a cross appeal and got a higher sentence? He would not get a higher sentence, and they're not going to cross appeal. They're going to appeal. We think we're right, and they'll respond to the appeal, and it'll be decided by the Second Circuit as soon as. Tell us about the conversation you had with your client after the non-consensual. The judge clearly thought the sexual encounters weren't consensual. What do you make of his remarks? He's biased. If anyone, I'm happy to go. So we think that's absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was clear. There was no sex trafficking. There was no racketeering. Everything was consensual. Everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the prostitution offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror, one we didn't choose, and that he second-guessed the jury's verdict. Well, at least the judge was open-minded. Judge Mathis gave his thoughts too and said he was shocked Diddy got off so easy. Even the judge said Diddy should see this as a second chance. During sentencing, the judge said, "You abused the power and control you had over the lives of women you said you loved dearly." Why did it go on so long? Because you had the power and resources to keep it going. You said the judge is going to look at everything else from the courtroom, and the sentence will tie to that. So you were right. Were you surprised by 50 months? Well, I was surprised it wasn't more, honestly, based on prosecutors wanting 11 years. The judge said he'd consider stuff outside the conviction and wouldn't give him $1 million bond or later $50 million and wouldn't give bond. So no, I thought he'd go harder. But 4 years, 5 years is 5 years, for years and 2 months. THS really because of 14 months time served. So you're looking at maybe 3 years. Yes, 3 years. Now what they're saying, I don't know if true, was that 1 year off or 1.4? Year and 4 months like you said. Exactly. Yeah, 14 months time served. But if he qualifies for the RDAP program, Residential Drug Abuse Program, he could get like 6 months off, maybe more, some halfway house stuff. Do you think that'll happen and he'll get out in a year and a half? It's interesting you mentioned that because that's why I think even though his defense team was great, Diddy missed out by not using his mental illness to get the judge's compassion. He admitted he was bipolar. So lean into that because bipolar matches the behavior he showed. Uncontrollable rage, mood swings, mania, hypersexuality is part of bipolar. And that needs treatment. You can't ignore it. It's a chemical imbalance. He needs meds. I hope he gets them, but he should have pushed that at sentencing. Like, yeah, I'm a good guy, etc. And that wasn't me. What you saw wasn't me. It's from a mental disorder I'm treating now and getting meds for. If you avoid the stigma of meds and just ask for mercy, that's the risk he took. But I'd have pushed it, and the sentence should have included treatment. The judge should have made him get treatment as part of it. Like you don't come home unless you follow the treatment I order. Like see a doctor every week or get medicated every week. Judge didn't do that. And that's one thing I hate about judges' sentencing. They just throw the book. No rehab expected. No education required. I had to get a GED. Changed my life. One user on X wrote, after terrorizing and violating women and men for 20 years. Diddy getting 4 years is an absolute disgrace. Another said, Diddy getting just 4 years in prison ain't enough for me. He spent 20+ years hurting people. He deserved way more time than that. Yesterday was the first time since the case started that Diddy spoke in court. During his speech, Diddy cried hard and apologized to everyone he hurt, saying he changed and was ready to be better. Even with his emotional sorry, nobody in the courtroom believed it. He didn't show Cassie mercy, so why should he get any now? Diddy's tears were just a plan to get sympathy before sentencing. On the day before sentencing, Sean Diddy Combs, the fallen music boss, wrote to a federal judge begging for mercy. He writes in part, I have to admit, my downfall was rooted in my selfishness. He apologized to 2 women who said he abused them, including Cassie Ventura, who he hit. This while prosecutors asked for 11 years after he got guilty on 2 counts of moving people for prostitution. Laura Jarrett joins us live in studio. Laura, you have the letter, and he makes it clear. He's asking the judge to let him go to his family right now, Tom. It's a striking letter. Combs' words, saying he knows no money or fame can save him now. He writes, I have been humbled and broken to my core. Jail is designed to break you. Some days I thought I'd be better off dead. He says he lost everything, businesses to time with kids. He's a single father. He apologizes especially to the women prosecutors say he abused. He says that video of him abusing Cassie plays in his head every day. I literally lost my mind. He says he's changed. He's sober for the first time in 25 years. He'll get to speak to the court tomorrow. His lawyers asked for just 14 months. Prosecutors want 11 years. He got not guilty on charges that could have kept him locked up forever. If anything, Diddy should be happy he only got 4 years. With time served, that's more like 2 years. 2 years in prison for the crimes he did is nothing. If Diddy was really ashamed, why was he still doing free coughs even on arrest day after mansion raids? Diddy is lucky he only got 4 years. It's exactly what I said on my show. I said Diddy G, only to end up doing 24 months. The judge gave 50 months, but he already had 14 months practically, and he'll get credit for 2 months of that 14. That gives 16 months. You're going to do 24 months, which will be about 30 months because feds only make you do 85%, and he goes to probably halfway house. So he got off like a fat rat in a cheese factory. But for a guy like Diddy in jail all that time, I'm not saying it's rough because his old bad boy president went to federal jail. Lil' Kim went federal jail. So because of who he is, he'll make it. He'll be fine. And they'll send him to a camp, bro. He'll be in a camp or dormitory. It'll be light for him. So he'll see streets again in 24 months. He'll be out within 2 years. It seems like 50 months sounds like a lot, but it's not really a lot. Not at all, bro. It's not a lot at all. You know what I'm saying? I know for a jet-setting executive who's traveled the world, stadiums, galas, mansions, you know a lot of people who lived in mansions are in federal jail. You got senators from Jersey in jail doing way more time than him. So he'll be all right, man. I think he got off like a fat rat in the cheese factory, bro. You know what I'm saying? One witness in Diddy's trial who Diddy paid to do lewd stuff with Cassie said this sentence feels like closure. Diddy's victims deserve better than this. According to the victims, while nothing can undo what happened, this sentence at least admits the truth Diddy tried hard to hide. This has been a huge part of my life too, you know, how it changed things and influenced stuff. And for me, it's almost like closure. On the stand, everything was just the truth. I didn't change anything that happened. And the only difference now is as time goes, I didn't realize how big my testimony was. A lot of people said my testimony helped get him acquitted on SEC and at least RICO charges. So knowing I might have been that important has been wild. I'm really hoping for time, and the reason is even after my testimony, I said this is just my experience. But for some reason, not so. Female sex workers reached out to me. Candid one-on-one talks. And everyone had the same experience I did. The jurors who saw the real evidence in court all say Diddy's sentence is more than fair. TMZ got the video Diddy played at trial to make the judge forgive him. And let's say it didn't help him. Almost everyone in the courtroom agreed the video made Diddy look shadier, especially since he admitted he was on drugs the whole time with his kids. According to Diddy, this is the first time in 25 years he's fully sober. Diddy's time in prison won't be easy. He's getting moved to federal prison, and that's where real trouble starts. Women beaters don't do well in prison, and that's probably what scares Diddy most. Diddy's big ego caused his fall. What do you think? Does Diddy deserve a second chance? Or is this sentence just the start of more? Let me know in the comments. And if you want updates on this case, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next.